Today we'll be discussing how architecture affects our health. While many of you already know the importance of natural light in a space, there are many other aspects to consider when designing a healthy environment. Healthy spaces involve looking at what we call visible and invisible layers of a building. Starting at thermal and acoustic comfort, air and water quality, continuing to movement through space, and finally looking at light, textures, colors and materials. Let's start with invisible layers. In recent years, insulation has been at the forefront of many newspaper headlines. It is important to properly insulate your home to ensure it does not lose heat in winter or gain it in summer. We should strive for comfortable indoor temperature with minimal use of energy. There are a number of smart thermostat systems that allow us to have a high degree of control over indoor temperature that follows our daily rhythms and routines. I personally like Tado thermostats as they can, if installed properly, control underfloor heating and radiator systems together. I also enjoy their minimal, unobtrusive design, and their phone app is easy to use. Not sponsored. If you insulate your home well, it becomes essential to design a proper mechanical ventilation system, preferably with heat recovery function. I often like to compare that a house without proper ventilation is like a person without lungs. It can't function. It leads to mold, stale air, and accumulation of CO2. Heat recovery ventilation systems not only create healthy movement of air, but also introduce air filtration systems. I personally immediately started waking up an hour early as my sleep improved while fresh air was being constantly delivered to my bedroom. Research has shown that small increases in air pollution are linked to significant rises in depression and anxiety. Air pollution causes a reduction in intelligence and is linked to dementia. Air pollutants are known to have potent inflammatory properties. Proper ventilation will reduce symptoms of asthma, allergies, and prevent headaches. Let's talk about acoustic comfort. Too much noise creates undesirable effects for our body. A design that works well acoustically should adapt to people's different sensory profiles. Accordingly to World Health Organization, 1 in 3 people experiences annoyance during the daytime and 1 in 5 has disturbed sleep at night because of noise. This increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases and high blood pressure. A design that works well acoustically, however, should adapt to people's different sensory profiles. We are all unique, and while one person needs complete silence to focus, another requires stimulation through background noise. Understanding sound, its diffusion, absorption, and reverberation is necessary to be able to tailor acoustic comfort to all of you specifically. Accordingly to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the water that comes to your tap actually contains small quantities of many other substances. Some of these are beneficial, such as appropriate amount of the disinfectant, like chlorine, that helps keep your water safe from germs, and fluoride, which helps prevent tooth decay. Other substances that might be in water can be harmful, such as lead and the germ Cryptosporidium. It is important to test your water and then decide on a water filtration system that suits your needs. I will now proceed to explore the visible layers. First, movement. Movement through space is one of the key elements of a good architecture and interior design plan. It is also what most people believe architecture is all about. I believe, however, that the flow and movement through your home should be tailored to your daily habits and routine. It is also not necessarily the same for everyone. What I love to do when designing a home, before I start sketching, I talk to each person who will be living in the space. I divide the day into morning, afternoon, and evening, and investigate what each person does on each day and during the weekend. It allows me to see who spends time where and how much, and what are the daily routines that need to be accommodated. This way I can design a space that is one of a kind. It is also possible to create a similar kind of research for public space. However, I will talk about it to you more in future videos. Let's talk now about lighting. Light can stabilize our circadian rhythms, decrease depression, and increase our cognitive performance. It is important to ensure each space has access to natural light. There is also a possibility to integrate circadian rhythms to indoor lighting by adjusting the temperature color of artificial light throughout the days. we like to introduce in our design a lot of ambient lighting, light that directly shines onto walls, floors, and ceilings in a way where you can't see the source of light. Exposure to high-intensity visible light can damage the eye retina and cause intensive headaches. With that in mind, I would also like to express how important it is for the space not to be too bright so that it loses sense of depth. Darker spaces are also important as they encourage intimacy, privacy, evoke imagination, and help focus your thoughts. Color theory has become more popular in recent years. While we can definitely find relations to how our body and mind reacts to different colors, it is important to determine personal sensibilities when working with colors. I worked with one client who got terrible headaches when surrounded by strong colors or intense contrasts, and then with another one who could focus only when surrounded by deep blues and purples. On one hand, colors can help create atmospheres that provide strength, energy, can help you relax and reduce stress, but certain color combinations can also become eye irritants. Texture informs our understanding of the visual world. Different textures encourage haptic invitation, which means they create a desire to be touched, which evokes a variety of emotions. For example, people experience an unconscious calming reactions to touching a plant. Soft and rough impressions can lead to feelings of kindness, peacefulness, and a sense of psychological relaxation. Moreover, lack of textures in the space can lead to tactile deprivation. Patterns are also an important factor in how we perceive and interpret the environment. Lack of patterns and textures often leads to an unmemorable interior, as there is nothing that catches the eye and in the same way makes an imprint on our memory. Choosing materials is not only about how they look. We need to make sure they are healthy for us to be around. Accordingly to American Lung Association, volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, are gases that are emitted into the air from products or processes. Breathing VOCs can irritate the eyes, nose, and throat, can cause difficulty breathing and nausea, and can damage the central nervous system and other organs. They can be most often found in paints, varnishes, caulks, sealants, adhesives, flooring, carpets, and pressed wood products. When searching for a specific product, make sure to check that they are listed as a low VOC product. We will look more into how to choose materials in the future videos, where we will explain in detail where to search for information and give you a few brand names that focus on the low VOC products. Each topic discussed today will be explored in more detail in future videos. Let me know which one interests you most. Thank you for joining me today, and we'll see you soon.